July 27th, 2023 City of Friendswood Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting is now called to order. First, we have the oaths of office. Aubrey?
All right, so we're doing the oaths of office again. Tom and Travis were both reappointed by council for another P&Z term. So as per our standard practice, we'll do a new oath of office. So if you just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Thomas Hinckley,
I, Thomas Hinckley,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of member of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of member of the Planning and Zoning Commission
for the City of Friendswood
for the City of Friendswood
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and the charter and ordinances of this city.
and the charter and ordinances of this city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank
you.
you. And raise your right hand. I, Travis Mann,
I, Travis Mann,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of member of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of member of the Planning and Zoning Commission
for the City of Friendswood
for the City of Friendswood,
of the State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and the charter and ordinances of this city.
and the charter and ordinances of this city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
We will begin by receiving communications from the public. To comply with provisions of the Open Meetings Act, the Commission may not deliberate on subjects discussed under this agenda item. However, the Commission may direct such subjects to be placed on a later regular Commission agenda for discussion and/or possible action. As there's nobody in attendance, we'll move on to our consent agenda. These items are considered routine and ministerial in nature and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of such items unless the Commissioner so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item A, consider approving the minutes of the Planning and Zoning regular meeting held on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Motion passes. Next is discussion. Item A, discuss proposed amendments to Appendix A, signs of the Friendswood City Code. Becky, would you like to provide the staff summary?
Yes, sir. So we went over the subcommittee's proposed changes last time, but we did have kind of a surprise that we threw on y'all about 2 monument signs being allowed on one parcel. So we were going to see if anybody had any further thoughts or questions. Aubrey and I did sit down and kind of look over some lots, and for the most part, a corner lot that's got street frontage having a monument sign on each street doesn't seem to be an issue, with the exception of some of the smaller lots. So, I mean, some of them are pretty small, and they don't. It would look kind of cluttered maybe. So we thought possibly adding in like a size requirement. So I put my draft up was to allow each street frontage not less than 250 feet. That was kind of where my starting point was, and just wanted to get y'all's thoughts on 2 signs versus 1 sign.
Becky, what do you mean by not less than 250 feet?
So the corner lots, the one in question for the community hospital, I think one side is about 325 feet long and one is like 290 feet long. But then we looked at some smaller lots that are like 100 by 100, and it just seemed kind of crowded to have 2 monument signs. So if
So-
your property's big enough, you have enough linear frontage on
Each
street,
road.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was.
So that's kind of where I was going with that one.
Could there be consideration to the distance between those signs? Because if you have 2 roads, you're going to want to display, right? You're going to want to let people know, but we don't want them bunched up. So instead of it being how long your frontage is, because if it's small on this and really long on that one, you can have a sign over here and a sign here and it's not bad. But the 250 means so it has to be equal lengths.
Right.
Just a thought there. Distance from sign to sign. We could do something like that.
Commissioner Bounds, any input?
Well, we discussed last time that they will have the availability to put their emergency room sign on the building on both sides. So personally, I'd rather not see an extra sign, monument sign myself.
In that case, with the emergency for the hospital, but in other cases, I guess that's what I was kind of going
Yeah,
with.
so-
If a business or
Right. So I guess the base question is, does the commission feel it's warranted to allow corner lots to have more than one sign? Is kind of the original question. And then the second question is, under what conditions? Distance between signs, size of property.
Like if the answer is yes, 2 signs are warranted, then what are the
Yeah.
criteria? Like, so
So-
I guess if we
Yeah, if we start
take
with
it
number
one bite at a time, like, do we want to allow 2 signs? Yes or no?
Agree with that.
If we don't, then we don't need to get into the weeds on the second part.
That's true. So, as of right now, we don't allow it. One piece of property, you get 1 sign. Most businesses have wall signs. You can have your wall signs on all 4 sides of your building if you want to. Like Commissioner Bounds said, this particular one, the reasoning for the second monument sign doesn't necessarily jive. That you're not going to miss a giant emergency lit up wall sign.
And part of their claim was that there's a requirement for like the hospital codes or whatever to have ambulance entry sign, but we allow on-site directional signs up to 2 square feet in size. Their letters have to be 8 inches tall with a contrasting background. So the 2-foot sign would be able to meet that requirement. We, in the sign ordinance, we're adding an exception. Like if there's any kind of federal or state law, like ATMs, have to be lit up to a certain lumen, then, we're not going to prohibit signs that are required by other laws. So we have that exception. So this was specifically, a request for 2 monument signs.
Well, a hospital's kind of a different scenario altogether, right? So putting the code to fit in with what they need may not necessarily be necessary, right?
Yeah, and I will say, I know there's probably been the request for additional signage over the years. We've held to, our standard for a long time. We feel, we've always felt that everybody's on the level playing ground with the signage that we do allow. So saying no, we don't want 2 monument signs is not a bad thing. I think it would be a big change. Like I said, we've had these standards for a long time and we've worked through it to this point. So,
Mr. Sasson, anything?
Yeah, my view is kind of the same as Commissioner Bounds. I worry about the unintended consequences of adding a second sign. Would the Shell station then put up a second sign? Would you get signs in places you don't want them? I thought also off the record, Becky mentioned in this case, you have the good one on Nassau Road 1. You can see it, the Walgreens sign, whatever sign they put up on that same monument will be very easy to spot. Going the other way, if you're trying to get traffic on Bay Area Boulevard, you're actually on the other side, so you probably wouldn't see it. And even if you did see it, you probably would turn before it to get to the hospital. And so I don't see that it's necessary for this client or this establishment. And I sure do worry about what would happen, no matter how tightly you word it, that you'd find some establishment that you say has got perfectly good signage now gets double signage. And that may not be a good thing. So my recommendation is that we not disturb the code and live with what we've been doing all along. I don't think it's an undue burden for this new business.
Anything additional? Commissioner Mann?
Yeah, I'm thinking bigger than this specific incident. That's kind of where I was going with it. But I think you're right. Now that if we've been going that way, you say you've had a couple requests, but it's not been a burden. I'm just trying to put myself in the business owner on 2 major roads. I got to pick which road I want to really advertise on. That kind of stinks, but I guess they can get creative, right? And use a storefront on one and a sign on the other. So I'm okay with sticking with what we've got.
And
Mr.
just to
Conrad?
clarify, they are allowed 2 signs if they have 40,000 square feet or more. That's the only instance that we do allow 2 is if it was based on the square footage.
Anything additional? Commissioner Conrad?
Well, I agree with that. You know, you have the monument on one side, but you will have the signage on the hospital on the other, so you'll be able to see it, I believe.
Commissioner Rouse?
I don't think I have anything to add to all those comments. You covered it all, and I agree.
Yeah, I feel like I would agree. I think one sign, especially most buildings have their signs on the building too, so as mentioned. So I'm fine with it staying at 1 myself.
Okay, well, we looked at it, we discussed it.
So what happens now is we now wait till the next meeting and bring it up for approval, or is it already to go to City Council as it is?
So Appendix A is a little bit different than Appendix B and C, in that it doesn't require the public hearing and doesn't require planning and zoning recommendation. However, we were, tasked with making some tweaks to this, and it's not prohibited, but it doesn't go through our normal process. So we would put this on our next agenda just as a recommendation item, and then move it forward to City Council with our recommendation. And since it doesn't require a public hearing, it would go through 2 readings with City Council to approve.
Okay, so one more meeting here for an official recommendation.
Yes.
Which sounds like we have already, but never know what Karen's going to bring, or Kathy's going to bring up.
Yeah.
And then it would go into the September meeting. Okay.
September and October? Is that what you're saying?
We can have it on the first meeting in August, because it's July.
Do we have to have it at 1 more meeting before they see it?
City Council for September, yes. It can be on our next August agenda, yes.
You're saying we need a formal recommendation since we didn't put it in the agenda that we were going to consider recommending it?
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
And then City Council will have to see it September and October?
yes.
Well, they need 2 months.
Yeah, because it doesn't require public hearing, so it's
Bites
2
the apple.
readings.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Anything else? Okay. Next on the agenda is communications. First to announce that the next Planning and Zoning Commission regular meetings have been scheduled for Thursday, August 10th, 2023, and Thursday, August 24th, 2023. Next, City Council updates from our liaison council member. Commissioner Matranga,
Good evening. Good evening.
welcome back.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to first thank all of you for serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission. As you all know, it's a special place in my heart, and so I think y'all are doing good work, and thank you so much, and thanks for re-upping and extending your terms, Tom and Travis. Thank you. Nothing to add. I kind of gave you an update in the last meeting on the City Council meeting as it pertained to P&Z and of public interest, so I have nothing else to add. But again, thank all of y'all for serving on P&Z.
Very good. Thank you. Next, we'll move to the communications from commissioners. Commissioner Bounds.
Just like to thank all the team that helped put this together and the commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Sassen.
Yeah, echo that as well. One thing I have noticed is we've been getting a little lax with some of our email communication. If Aubrey puts out a note saying, will you be there? You need to send it to Aubrey, but not to all the other commissioners. Technically, I think that's a violation. We just need to be careful. Nobody's going to prosecute us on it. But in general, what I do, I will reply to Aubrey and Becky and then copy Tom, because I figure he needs to know who's coming and who's not, and then leave it at that. So just be careful.
Very good. Commissioner Mann?
Just happy to be here.
Commissioner Conrad?
Likewise.
Commissioner Rives?
Yeah, I still go to the GCCD meetings, a lot of them at least. So I was just going to give you an update. This Tuesday, they approved the preliminary plat for Friendswood Trails Section 4B and 5A. And then the final drainage, well, that's all. A final drainage plan for Friendswood Trails water line and a couple minor things around town. But just want to let you know that they're still around. And I do go over there, so if I hear anything interesting, I'll let you know.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you to the subcommittee for putting together the sign ordinance. I know a lot of work goes into it, so. And nothing beyond that. Aubrey? Okay. Becky? Karen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With that, thank you everyone for attending this evening, and the July 27th, 2023 Planning and Zoning regular meeting is now adjourned.